right, and joining us today to provide insights into the latest political developments and their implications is political analyst Dalal Llamas, Ronald Llamas, who is mobile this morning. So Ronald, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning, Pauline, Cheska, Angela. Pasensya na. 2 hours na ako sa EDSA. Grabe traffic. Oo.
Oo nga,
Wow.
Happy,
sayang.
oo. Happy 10th anniversary ng ating victory sa UNCLOS.
Mamaya pag-usapan natin yan, Sir Ronald, ano? Pero unahin po muna natin ang impeachment trial. This is now the second week of Vice President Sara Duterte's trial. Pero dahil hindi kami nakapagkwentuhan sa iyo last week, balikan muna natin yung unang linggo ng trial. Ano? What is your assessment?
Well, clearly, at least dito sa nakaraang linggo, ay very successful yung prosecution na i-present yung kanilang kaso. Yung defense ay very successful in making almost 50 objections ni CJ Narbasa. So, tingin ko magkaiba na strategy eh. Yung prosecution, binabalansin nila yung impeachment trial both as a judicial process and as a political process. Yung defense, nagpo-focus lang dun sa judicial process. Kaya para silang nasa isang korte sa Regional Trial Court. Paramihan ng objections, paramihan ng mga interventions para protektahan yung kanilang kliyente. Yung prosecution, alam nila na nanonood yung millions of Filipinos. At alam nila, the court of public opinion eventually will help shape the opinion of the judges, the senator judges. So they are conducting themselves as such. Kaya medyo magkaiba yung strategy at saka yung framework dito sa impeachment trial na ito.
Well, Sir Ronald, Vice President Sara Duterte called on the government officials to stop politicking and focus on peace, order, and development. So how do you interpret that message in the context of current political tension? So talaga bang namumuliti ka lang?
Well, it takes two to tango. No, sabi ko nga several years ago, 3 years ago, this has turned into an existential battle. A battle for the political survival of the Duterte group and the Marcos group. So, parehas naman silang namumulitiko dito. At parehas silang tinatamaan. Si Digong, nadala sa International Criminal Court for Crimes Against Humanity. Si Bongbong, nakasuhan din ng impeachment, although it failed. At ngayon, si Sara Duterte ay nakasuhan for the second time ng impeachment. Kaya mahirap maging hypocritical dito sa political engagement na ito dahil pareho naman silang namumulitika.
Sir Ronald, we saw the Vice President appear at the Senate to speak with her defense team. And then, of course, she dropped the line, bloodied but unbowed. And then we also saw Attorney Zulaika Lopez appear at the Senate to speak with Senate Secretary Bantog. But she didn't speak to the media, aside from the one-liner, prepare for Typhoon Inday. How do you, what image was this able to portray to the public?
Well, I think kanyan by design dahil hindi nga nagpakita si Vice President Sara dun sa hearing sa House. At dito, yung first day, hindi din siya nagpakita. Kaya nababanatan siya. Kaya tingin ko, calculated yan para ipakita na hindi siya natatakot dito sa impeachment court. Pero yung medyo natawa lang ako sa kanyang 11-second na speech. Dahil nagsimula siya sa bloodbath na siya ay bloodied but unbowed. Yung tula na titled Invictus. Pero ang nagsalita kasi tungkol sa bloodbath siya a year ago, kung maaalala nyo. Tapos yung kay Zulaika naman ay hindi naman siya kasama sa witnesses ng prosecution eh. Pero nung binanggit ng defense na siya yung nag-trigger dun sa reactions at saka threats ni Vice President Sara, kaya pinatawag siya. Baka pinagsisisihan ngayon ng defense kung paano nila binanggit si Zulaika. Kaya siya ngayon ay haharap dapat bukas.
So with that, Sir Ronald, do you expect the second week of this impeachment trial to be more contentious compared to the first one last week, which a lot of analysts and observers have said na masyado daw technical, it was over-judicialized. Kahit si Senator Ping Lacson nabanggit, diba, na kahit siya nainip daw sa proceedings. So what can we expect this week? And paano rin po mapapasimple ng impeachment court yung kabuuang proceedings itong trial?
Well, of course, no? Dahil contentious naman talaga judicially at saka politically yung impeachment process na yan from the start. Kaya tingin ko this week, it will remain very contentious. Ang problema lang, parang last week, we took 3 days to interrogate, they took 3 days to interrogate a witness to authenticate a video which all of us saw. No? Nakita na lahat ng buong mundo yung video na yon. So, 3 araw. No? Okay naman yung witness dahil pinangatawanan niya yung pagiging authentic ng video. Pero kahit naman tayo, lahat tayo napanood natin yun Kaya sana, wag nang ulitin yung ganun ka-tedious, ganun kahaba na interrogation para sa isang bagay na alam naman natin lahat. Tingin ko, this week, magpapatuloy yung article of impeachment tungkol sa grave threats. Mukhang gusto nilang patunayan na meron talagang hinire na assassin para gawin yon kung sakali. Pero hindi naman kailangan yun sa usapin ng grave threats. Na nakita naman natin na una, ginawa yung threat doon sa pinakamataas na opisyal ng bansa. Ikalawa, ginawa yan very publicly. At ikatlo ay ang beneficiary ng threat ay yung gumawa ng threat, yung Vice President mismo. At ikaapat, in terms of capability, natingin ko kaya nila patunayan within the week. May capability yung nagbigay ng threat para gawin yung threat. Dahil may kaso nga ng crimes against humanity yung kanyang tatay at yung kanyang kaalyado, si Senator Bato de la Rosa. So yung 4 na variables na yan, tingin ko will favor the prosecution. But that will continue this week.
Okay. Second, I want to talk about yung BIR box. There will be oral arguments between the prosecution and the defense this coming Wednesday. Pero si Senator Ping Lacson has reiterated his position. He said he will not and cannot support the unsealing of this box unless the President will issue a written request. No? Because based on the rule of law, yun yung mga nakalagay doon na dapat may request or waiver from the defendant or respondent. Pero kung gagawin po ng Pangulo na mag-issue po siya o magbigay po ng written request sa BIR, will it also tell us na parang nakikialam po yung Pangulo dito sa impeachment trial na ito when in fact he said na ayaw nga niya makialam?
Mukhang ang usapin dyan ay proseso. Nung pinopropose kasi ang green box na yan, yung BIR green box na yan, ay galing yan sa House. Ang sabi ng Senado ay dapat ang Senate as a trial court ang mag-request niyan. No? At request nila yan sa executive. Kaya mukhang ang usapin dito ni Ping Lacson ay proseso. So isosoli siya sa BIR na bahagi ng executive dahil nanggaling sa House yung green box. So ang magre-request ngayon ay yung Senate as a trial court. At directly or indirectly, yung executive ang magdidesisyon para dalhin yan sa Senado. So parang ganun yung pinopropose na proseso para hindi sila ma-technicality sa Supreme Court. No? Pero hindi ako abogado, hindi ko alam kung ano yung legal technicalities niyan. Pero from my vantage point, as a non-lawyer, parang ganun yung kanilang ginagawa. Hindi naman nila talaga nire-reject. Inaayos lang nila yung proseso.
Doon po kasi sa recent interview ni Ping Lacson, sinabi niya po yun. Unless merong written request from the President, then talagang hindi siya in favor sa pagbubukas nitong BIR box na to. To my question nga po, na kung sakasakali na magbigay nga po si President Bongbong Marcos ng written request, what does this tell us in terms of yung ganong perspektibo?
Under kasi ng Presidente yung BIR. So, parang ang kinukuha nila ay dapat aprubahan. Hindi ko alam, again, hindi ko alam yung technicalities. Pero mukhang lalabas naman kasi yung greenbacks na yan sa Senado. Muka, no? Again, kailangan natin konsultahin yung mga abogado. Bakit ganun ang posisyon ni Senator Ping Lacson?
Sir Ronald, we're also going to hear the oral arguments, no, from both prosecution and defense, and they were each only given 10 minutes. What do you think we can expect from both sides?
Well, una ay Cheska, ay gusto kasi nilang maging mabilis yung proseso. Dahil ayun nga, kung magiging astigious siya katulad last week, halimbawa in one sitting, naka-49 objections si CJ Narbasa, mukhang iniiwasan nila yon. No? Kaya gusto nilang madaliin. Dahil unang kwan pa lang yan, unang article of impeachment pa lang yan. So, baka wala na diyang manood. At alam naman na lahat, because this is a political process, yung court of public opinion will play a role dito sa court ng Senate. No? Kaya tingin ko it's a strategy na para yung narrative ng prosecution at saka defense ay ma-present more effectively at mas maikse.
Pero for you, Sir Ronald, so far, just based on what we've seen already, what we've seen from the prosecution, sa tingin niyo po ba na-establish na nila kung bakit impeachable offense yung grave threats na ginawa ng Vice President? Because even before this trial, di ba sinabi po ng mga prosecutors, ng mga congressmen, na ito yung pinakamalakas na article daw nila because it's the least contentious one in terms of facts. Pero ang defense, sinasabi, hindi, conditional threat yan. Di ba? May mga ganun silang justification. So what should the public understand on this particular article of impeachment? Kasi yung iba naghahanap din na bakit nangontrata ba ng assassin yung Vice President? Umabot ba sa ganoong punto? Or for the case of the prosecution, ang point naman nila is the grave threats itself already constitute an offense.
Yes, tama yun, Pauline. No? Bago kasi nitong trial, ang sagot dyan ni Vice President Sara, una, hindi niya sinabi. Ikalawa, out of context, yung kanyang sinabi. Ikatlo, hyperbole lang yon. No? Ikaapat ay na-splice. Yun yung pinakahuling sagot ni Vice President Sara tungkol dyan sa video na yan. Na-splice daw. Yung mga arguments na yan before, hindi na nila ginagamit ngayon. Dalawa yung kanilang ginagamit ngayon. Una, yung context. Yung context, kaya gusto nilang ipalabas yung 2 hours na video. No? Na yan ay sinabi ng Vice President dahil siya ay na-trigger. Kaya ipapatawag bukas si Zulaika. Papatawag yung trigger. Pero ang argumenta nila ay context. Ikalawa ay ito ba ay impeachable offense? Ibig sabihin, nagko-contradict yung dalawa dahil yung ikalawa, ang sinasabi, assuming na nangyari ito, na alam naman natin lahat nangyari, ito ba ay high crime? Ginamit nila yung salitang high crime. Kung hindi ito high crime, dapat hindi ito impeachable. No? Sinasabi ng prosecution, it doesn't matter. It was a grave threat. Sabi ko nga, because of 4 reasons. Intent, capability, no? Position, at saka yung very public. Kaya tingin ko, para dito sa article na ito, lamang na lamang yung prosecution. No? Lamang na lamang sila.
Well, second, whatever the outcome of this trial will be, sabi nga nila, it will really shape the political landscape, dito sa atin, sa bansa natin. So do you believe or at least think that the center judges will base their decision on the evidence? Or meron pa rin pagtimbang doon sa kanilang political ambition and the public perception?
Well, tama yun.
Angela. Nawala. Nako, na-traffic na. Oo, pati yung signal natin na-traffic na. We'll try to get back to Secretary or former Secretary Ronald Llamas because he is on the way here supposedly. And then we'll get his thoughts on my question. But yun nga, we are still talking about the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. This is the second week. And there are a lot of things that we need to unpack, both for the prosecution and the defense. But let's see if Sec is there already. Are you back?
Yes. Yes, medyo naputol. Tama yung
Okay.
sinabi mo, Angela. Sabi ko nga, this is both a political and a judicial process. At mahalaga rin dito yung court of public opinion. Definitely, it will shape the political landscape. Baka it will dominate the political landscape. Kung ma-impeach si Sara, ay syempre marami tatakbo sa 2028. Kung hindi siya ma-impeach, it will depend on the evidence. It will depend on the evidence as it impacts on public opinion. Halimbawa, yung pinakahuling article, yung unexplained wealth, yun yung pinaka-vulnerable si Sara in terms of political impact. Kung mapapatunayan ng prosecution na billions talaga yung dumaan sa kanyang bank account at iba pa yung mga properties na meron siya na wala sa SALN niya na 80 million lang at mapapatunayan na itong mga na ito, itong perang ito, itong billions na ito ay nanggaling sa anomalous sources like drug lords, pogo lords, etc. Then kahit hindi siya ma-impeach, yung evidence will make her damaged goods. No? Kaya ang labanan dito ay maaprubahan ba yung lahat ng evidence ng majority of the senators? Hindi kailangan ng 2/3 doon eh. Majority lang. Elephant in the room. The
Alright.
evidence na lalabas mismo. Pero the evidence itself is very
We're losing Secretary Ronald, ano? As we said, mobile kasi siya eh. Oo, nawawala-wala yung signal. Oo. Can we try that again? Sec, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, so to your point,
Yeah. As I said, kung ma-impeach si Sara, ay maraming tatakbo na kandidato for 2028. Kung siya ay hindi ma-impeach, then ang mahalaga diyan yung evidence. Will the evidence damage her going into 2028 or will it strengthen her? No, kaya makikita natin itong trial as very political going into 2028. Practically, matatapos itong trial end of the year. Next year, practically, simula na yung kampanya. So definitely, sabi mo nga, Angela, ang lakas ng impact nito sa political landscape. Pero for now, parang hindi na-realize ng defense that this is a political process. So tingin ko baka mag-adjust sila this week and in the coming weeks to treat this trial not simply as a normal, regular trial sa isang regional trial court, kundi tignan ito differently as a very political process. Tingin ko yun yung adjustment na pwede nilang gawin this week and in the coming months.
Sir Ronald, another point to this is, of course, political neutrality, and that's part of their oath. But
Yes.
we've seen the lines drawn, of course. What does the public need to look out for to ensure that the senator judges are, staying true to the oath instead of going for vested interests?
Well, tama ka, Cheska. Kailangan ng neutrality, ng objectivity, no? Pero alam din naman natin dahil itong mga senators are not real judges. They are politicians. So meron talaga silang biases. So yes, kinakailangan maging objective at saka neutral. Pero alam din natin na personally, meron silang mga biases. Ang problema, kung ipapakita mo yung biases na yan blatantly, halimbawa, yung dalawang Cayetano siblings ay very obvious yung kanilang partisanship. Talo pa nila, at some point, talo pa nila yung abogado ng defense. Kaya baka tapos iniinsulto pa nila yung kanilang mga fellow judges, fellow senator judges na kailangan nila mag-ayos in terms of yung kanilang conduct sa election. So very condescending. So at this point ay yung dalawang Cayetano siblings na si Robin Hood Padilla, yung parang hindi nagpapakita ng neutrality at saka objectivity. Halimbawa, for example, yung statement ni Senator Risa Hontiveros ay very objective. Nagamit pa mismo ng defense. Ginamit mismo ng isang stalwart ni Sara, si Attorney Panelo. So, ibig sabihin, medyo i-compare mo yan doon sa conduct ng Cayetano siblings. No, kaya hindi ko alam, baka mag-adjust din sila para magpakita ng objectivity or neutrality this coming weeks. Dahil last week ay very obvious na sila ay parang abogado ng defense.
Pero Sir Ronald, no, as you mentioned, itong impeachment trial will be very consequential and it will really affect the political landscape, especially leading up to 2028. Pero kung mai-impeach nga man si Vice President Sara Duterte, right now, ang kailangan dyan ay 16 votes, 2/3 of all members. Sa tingin niyo po ba maaabot yung 16? Magkakaroon ba ng swing votes? May mga lilipat ba?
Well, kung makikita natin yung previous impeachment, ay talaga namang may mga nagbabago ng posisyon. Kumpara doon sa evidence at kumpara sa public opinion. Halimbawa, yung kay Chief Justice Corona, nagsimula yon na very minimal yung open sa impeachment. Eventually, natapos siya with 20 votes. Tatlo lang yung hindi bumoto. So it can change. No, pero again, sinasabi ko nga, depende yan sa evidence as it impact also on public opinion. Ngayon, yung 16 na sinabi ni Presiding Judge Cheese, dalawa yan. Sabi nga ni Adolf Ascuna, pwede pa yan mabago keso ng impeachment. No? Pwede pa siya mabago. Pwede pang pagbotohan yan ng a simple majority kung 16 nga or lower, yung 2/3. Pwede rin may magsampa ng kaso sa Supreme Court dahil naging justiciable na siya nung naglabas ng decision yung presiding judge. So dalawa yung pwede mangyari dyan sa 16. Pagbotohan later ng Kongreso through a simple majority kung ano talaga yung ibig sabihin ng 2/3 or may magsampa ng kaso sa Supreme Court.
Sir Ronald, we saw this, the threshold addressed on day 1 when Presiding Officer Chiz said na 16 ang threshold. And then on day 2, Senator Ping just asked to clarify. Senator Chiz did say na if anyone wanted to protest or change that, then they could file a petition. Why haven't we seen anyone file for a motion to reconsider just yet?
Una, maaga pa, no? Pero malaki ang possibility na may mag-file sa Supreme Court. Lalo na may 3 ka na na mga senador na missing. 2 ay suspended na from the functions or the office of the Senate. No? Kaya at the very least, ay pwedeng bumaba yan sa 15 or even lower, 14. Kung 4 na senador ang wala dyan, ay bababa yan sa 14. Sa ngayon, at least 15. Kaya halos sigurado ko na may file sa Supreme Court. I-question, ano ba talaga yung 2/3? Dahil nga naging justiciable na with the decision of Presiding Judge Chis Escudero. Pero again, sabi nga ni Supreme Court Justice Escuna the other day, pwedeng pagbotohan yan later, mismo sa Senate, by a simple majority. No? So, yun yung 2 possibility sa usapin ng 2/3. Pero tingin ko, napakalaki ng possibility na yan ay questionin either dyan sa Senado mismo or sa Supreme Court.
Oo. Pero sabi mo, Secretary, medyo matagal pa, no? Kaya sa question ni Cheska na bakit wala pa nagfa-file. Pero di ba dapat mag-file na rin sila ngayon because matagal mag-decide ang Supreme Court?
Yes, unless ang kanilang calculation dahil ongoing itong trial nito, mas bibilisan ng Supreme Court kesa before. So, I'm not sure, no? Hindi ko isa-second guess yung Supreme Court. Pero tingin ko, 2 nga yung options. Halimbawa, sa Wednesday, pagpapasyahan nila yung usapin ng pag-lift ng bank secrecy laws in preparation para do sa 4th article of impeachment. So medyo ginagawa naman nila, no? Yan. Ang siguro ang calculation lang nila ay later na nila pagpapasyahan itong 2/3 either sa Senate or sa Supreme Court dahil binibilang pa nila. Baka kasi meron pang mabawas. No? Baka meron pang mabawas.
Oo.
Yun lang naman yung aking naughty observation.
Well, we have a lot of things to ask you pa. A lot of topics like the arbitral ruling, the anniversary of arbitral ruling. But hold your horses, hold your thoughts. We'll see you here
Nandito na
in the
ako.
studio.
I arrived at last.
Yes, we'll see you here in the studio. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you here in the studio. That was our political pundit, Ronald Llamas.
Just like that, magically, we have Sir Ronald Llamas live in the studio already.
Tada! Live po siya, live.
Nakaabot din.
Good morning.
In
Grabe
flesh.
naman yung Dalai Llamas mo, Pauline,
diba?
no?
Nakuha lang namin yun kay Sir Ed.
Lingao.
Maraming natuwa dun, Sir Ronald. Okay, so tuloy natin yung discussion
Yes.
natin, Sir Ronald. Still on the impeachment trial, Vice President Sara Duterte. Ako, I wanted to get your thoughts, Sir Ronald, dun sa naging argument ng defense last week, na conditional nga yung threat ni VP. May nabanggit pa sila about Operation Romanov. If they decide to pursue that argument, gano'ng ka-sound yung ganong klaseng
Yeah.
defense?
Sinagot yan dati ni NBI Director Santiago. There's no such thing as a conditional threat. Either it's a threat or not. Yung conditional, ibig sabihin, pag na-implement yung condition, hindi na yung threat, murder na yon. Paano nakalagay dun sa condition? Pag may nangyari sa akin, patayin nyo. Diba? So, ibig sabihin, hindi na siya conditional. It's already a murder case. No? Yan ang sagot ni dating NBI Director Santiago na mukhang ipapatawag din dito. Ibang usapin pa yung may proof daw na dun sa assassin. Na hindi daw assassin. Killer lang. So, yung mga, ayusin niyo yung mga technicalities nyo.
Mali
no?
tayo, mali.
Oo. Yung sa Romanov, ito yung pinaka nakakatawa rito. Dahil unang gumamit ng Romanov, si Baste Duterte noong January 2024 sa isang peace rally sa Davao. Ang sabi niya, gusto niyo bang mangyari sa inyo yung nangyari sa Romanov? Addressing the Marcos family. Ang nangyari kasi sa Romanov family,
Ubos ang
pinabagsak
lahi.
ng mga Bolshevik sa Russia at the turn of the century at minasaker. Yung mga napapanood yung mga play at saka movies about kay Anastasia,
Anastasia.
doon ang galing yon sa Romanov. Kaya medyo weird na ngayon, sila yung naging Romanov. No? Kaya I doubt kung isusustain nila yan. Dahil very weak yung ganong klaseng argument. At nung tinanong na NBI, saan nang galing yung threat? Hindi sinagot ni Vice President. Kaya nga, haharap yung NBI. Sinubukan nilang investigahan, pero yung naglabas ng threat na yon, yung Romanov threat sa kanila, ayaw naman magsalita o ayaw ibigay yung saan nang galing. Kaya mahirap i-sustain yan. Dahil ibig sabihin, ginawa naman ng NBI yung role nila na investigahan yung alleged threat na sila ay gagawing Romanov.
Well, I understand you're not a lawyer, Secretary, pero I want to know your assessment kay Presiding Officer Chis Escudero. Diba? Kasi ang laki ng debate niya na bakit siya yung naging presiding officer when in fact dapat according sa batas is the Senate President. Pero based on your perspective, as an ordinary person na nanonood ng impeachment trial, kamusta po yung kanyang pag-preside? Is he too lenient or fair with both defense and prosecution?
Tingin ko grudgingly, dahil matagal akong critic ni Senator Chis Escudero from the forthwith episode hanggang do sa kanyang mga kaso. Tingin ko ay maganda yung kanyang handling, in fairness, dito sa trial as a presiding judge. Nababalansi niya. At kahit naman yung defense ay hindi siya kinikriticize. Dahil maganda naman yung kanyang handling. At very competent, very efficient. No? Ayun lang, pag nagko-quote siya ng mga Latin, kailangan mong hanapin sa ChatGPT. No? Yung ibig sabihin mo sinasabi
Isang
niya.
parang Harry Potter sa
Pero tingin ko ay very fair at saka very competent yung kanyang handling. At tingin ko, kaya pang i-improve in terms of pace. No? Pero at this point kasi, kahit ganun ka-objective yung kanyang handling, yung prosecution ang nagdi-dictate ng pace at saka ng narrative. At saka yung mga most effective blows, kumbaga sa boxing. No? Sila yung nagkukuhan. Kaya tingin ko over the weekend, nag-a-assess yung defense. Paano nila mamimitigate yung kanilang weakness. Tingin ko rin, si Senator Chis Escudero ay ina-assess din together with some senators. Paano ito mas gagawing mas mabilis? Dahil pag mabore yung mga nanonood, change channel na yan. No? Baka sa yan, ilipat sa Storycon, no? Or
Money matters.
may hugot pa yan. Pero yun, sa kanila, very conscious sila dyan. Dahil alam nila nga, this is a political process. At public opinion will play an important
But
part.
they need to make sure that it won't compromise the presentation of evidence kung bibilisan nila.
Yes. Mahalaga yung ganong klaseng balancing. No? Pero minsan kasi ay pinoprolong na lang eh. Kaya nga yung dating minsan ng defense, doon sa kanilang 49 objections in one sitting, parang ayaw nyo ba lumabas yung evidence? No? Kaya siguro yung presiding judge mas gagawing decisive yung kanyang ruling para mas mapabilis yung proseso. Dahil kung hindi mo pipigilan, talagang
Hahaba.
hahaba. Dahil siyempre, pwedeng strategy ng defense ay ma-pissed off na rin yung audience para hindi na
Tune
manood.
out, ano?
Oo.
But also, there are still a couple of petitions on the sidelines ongoing. No? So the first one was from the camp of Senator Alan Peter Cayetano regarding the events that transpired on June 3. And then the second one is, I think, from a group of lawyers who are questioning Senator Chis Escudero as presiding officer. What happens? So if it's junk, it doesn't matter. But what happens if, let's say, the Supreme Court decides that these petitions have merit?
Yeah.
And
Well,
the impeachment's already ongoing. So
Yeah. Well, una yung June 3, tingin ko mamumuti na academic na yon. No, natapos na kasi. Nagkaroon na ng 13 yung majority. No? Kaya tingin ko magiging muti na academic na yon. Ikalawa, yung kilatoryon, tingin ko very weak. Dahil ang kina-question nila, yung Senate ba pwedeng magbago ng rules para yung hindi yung Senate President ang maging presiding judge. Dahil malinaw kasi sa Constitution, ang very specific, pag impeachment ng Presidente, ang presiding judge yung Chief Justice. Yun yung malinaw. Aside from that, wala namang clear na magpe-presiding judge. Kaya malinaw sa Constitution, sorry, na yung sa impeachment, yung Senate mismo ang magpapasya sa kanilang rules. At yun ang ginawa ng Senate. Gumawa sila ng rule na hindi necessarily yung Senate President ang magiging presiding judge. Kaya suportado sila ng Constitution sa usapin na yan. No? Kaya tingin ko, in terms of decision ng Supreme Court, either hindi sila mag-decision dyan o i-reject nila yung kilatoryon. Dahil very strong yung constitutional provision na yung Senate can make its own rules. At walang malinaw kung sino ang magpe-presiding judge kung hindi presidente. No? Ngayon, kung sakaling mangyari yon, then magkakaroon ka ng constitutional crisis. No? Dahil co-equal body yan. No? So, pero I doubt kung mangyayari yon. At least dun sa dalawang kaso. In dalawang kaso.
Or judicial overreach kasi nga equal body sila.
Yes. Ang dapat kasi makikialam yung Supreme Court kung talagang may grave abuse of discretion. Tingin ko, yung issue na yan, haharapin ng Supreme Court doon sa 16. Yun, mas doon sila magpo-focus.
Threshold
Kesa dyan
voting.
sa Ketorion at saka yung June 3, tingin ko tapos na yun.
Okay, so let's table first this discussion on the impeachment trial, ano? Kasi marami pa naman tayong aabangan mamaya. Day 4 of the impeachment trial.
Na bukas pag harap ni Solaika.
Ayun, mas excited pa yun.
Parang excited ka dun, ha?
Parang telenovela yan eh. No? Wala naman ako naisip pahiwatig.
Ayan. Okay. So, dun muna tayo sa yesterday, we celebrated the 2016 arbitral ruling. But of course, last week nakita rin po natin that Chinese scholars were claiming that Batanes is a national geographical extension, natural geographical extension of Taiwan. Kaya pagmamayari na rin daw nila ang Batanes. Pero Secretary Gilbert Teodoro has already said words like walang basehan yan, di ba? Kalokohan yan. Secretary, how can we counter these kinds of claims by China?
We cannot counter them, no? Dahil nga yung China talaga ay out to take over our territory, especially the rich West Philippine Sea. Itong Batanes, gusto nila itong kunin dahil strategic ito sa usapin ng Taiwan. Yung Batanes kasi at saka yung southern hub ng Taiwan is just 100 kilometers. At yung southern hub ng Taiwan, yan yung pinaka-importante sa kanila. Yan yung industrial hub nila. Diyan pinakamaraming OFW na nag-work, no? Kaya Kung may plano sila, ang alam ko kasi 2027, balak nilang i-take over na ang Taiwan, mahalaga yung gateway na yan from the Pacific. Yan ang daanan eh. Kung meron tutulong sa Taiwan or sa Japan, kung may gera, yan yung pasukan
Yes.
ng Hawaii, ng Australia, ng Guam. Kaya sinaset nila yung predicate na pwede nilang i-take over ang Batanes dahil nga historic claims, hindi ko alam saan kinuha yon. Kaya nga, gumawa din ng counter-historic claims yung ilang mga Philippine groups na historically, yung China ay pagmimay-ari ng Pilipinas. Parang asaran na lang yung nangyayari. Dahil ang labo no? Biglang naging property nila yung Batanes. Pero yun yung strategic importance ng Batanes sa usapin ng Taiwan.
Strategic, ano nga daw yan waterway system. Anyway, we have so much questions to ask you. Unfortunately, we don't have time anymore. Isipin mo, umabot pa tayo sa ganun. Dahil pa natin itanong sa kanya. But thank you so much for your time
Salamat
and
din.
insights, political pundit Ronald Llamas. We appreciate po yung
Thank you
pagpunta
for
niyo
still
dito.
coming to the show.
Sisingin natin ang MMDA.